Here's a lot of really screwed up narratives I've been hearing. Oh, looks like my video is having difficulties attaching itself to the internet. I don't know what that's about. We'll see if I can open up another page here. That might help. All right, looks like it's working. Now, this person calls himself PD. This is based off of a post where Boulder Police, 14 of them, 14 police vehicles pulled up and pointed guns at people trying to sleep. This is Boulder Police Department. One person was charged with felony trespassing. Out of all the people there, the only one that they charged with criminal trespassing was the one that they could call mentally ill. Now, this isn't the important part. See, I don't pay as much attention to the news as I do you people. By you people, I'm not talking about any specific gender. I'm not talking about any specific skin color. Now, I want to let you know what this PD person typed, because really, this is the kind of mentality, the kind of pampered pipsqueaks we got to deal with. People who had a good start. People who don't know what it's like, but want to judge us for being victimized to the point that we become homeless to begin with. And then it's fine for people like this, PD, to do whatever the fuck they want. PD typed, yes, this page obviously managed by Delusional. So they're not very good at English. I've been noticing a lot of this. A lot of people who obviously English is not their first language, who want to create racial divide and tension and hatred wherever they fucking can. Anyway, this person calls themselves PD typed, process of evicting a squatter generally goes something like this. Call the police immediately. When you find someone on your property, call the police. But do you? And who do you call it on? See, this is this person's immediate response. If you don't own property, then it is illegal for you to exist. And people love that. People who want to have someone to victimize love the shit out of that. Pampered pipsqueaks who got everything handed to them by their mommy and daddy. This is the way they think. Y'all want to be pissed off and say, oh, well, the police should go after the person who called the police. All right. Cops don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about me. They give a fuck about a paycheck, promotions, extra money. Anyway, this person continued, serve an eviction notice. Serve the squatter with an eviction notice. File a lawsuit. Have the squatter removed. Handle any belongings left behind. Handle. You mean throw it away. See, this is the thing, is that we end up with our stuff thrown away often. Thrown away. That's stolen property. That is our property, our life-saving property. But that doesn't register to you because the coldest that you get is walking from your vehicle to your fucking car. And then there's most of you idiots want to just assume that every homeless person out there is a druggie or a child molester or a fucking junkie or lazy won't get a job. I had a job the whole time I was homeless. Nearly the whole time. This person called Safe Access for Everyone typed, our unhoused friend once woke up to several cops drawing guns on him with no warning because he was squatting in an abandoned building. I've woken up with police pointing guns at me for squatting behind a fucking bush on public property. You aren't allowed to exist. You get sick and tired of being victimized. But every time you get victimized, the police make excuses why it must be okay. The public makes excuses why it must be okay. See, this didn't come down at all to right or wrong. It didn't even come down to evidence. None of it did. It came down to popularity contest. Anyway, PD typed, apparently you people never work hard enough to be able to afford to buy property. With all due respect, you have to have 3 full-time jobs to keep a roof over your head. It doesn't matter if you're working that 3 full-time jobs or if you have 2 roommates who are working full-time jobs. One person is not enough to get up and out. Plain and simple. Especially with police officers hunting you like you're some sort of a fucking animal and taking everything that you busted your ass for. And you do have to work 10 times harder for that shit when you don't have it all handed to you at 18. I got people who are constantly wanting to tell me about, oh, well, I earned my first car when I was 16 with my summer job. Bitch, you lucky little cunt rag. Do you realize how lucky you are that you weren't busy spending that time busting your ass, going to work so that you could feed your siblings like I did? Then again, you don't want to call me mentally ill, don't you? Now, all these black folks that are pissed off, are you calling them mentally ill as your excuse why it's magically okay? This racism needs to stop, but it's not just racism. Now, this guy right here typed, apparently you people never work hard enough to be able to afford to buy a property. I do. Matter of fact, this person types, I do. Pampered little bitches. Fuck it. I almost had enough money for property right before Natalie died. And what happened? Natalie was killed. I was not able to save that money. I was forced into homelessness and victimization. You guys want to complain about how somebody might break your stuff, somebody might steal your stuff. Meanwhile, when you're homeless, that is what your life is, getting your shit stolen, getting your shit broken, and getting accused of every bad thing imaginable because you are the easiest victim. Not black people, not Native Americans, you as a homeless person. See, this is not a race issue, it is a poverty issue. But you aren't going to stick up for the other poor people, are you? Fuck no, you're making it a race issue. Why the fuck would you stick up for anybody who isn't your race? BLM doesn't stick up for anyone of any other race. Not a single one. They don't speak out about the wrong things that black people are doing to white people. These racist things that black people have been doing to white people for my entire life, by the way. But BLM refuses to acknowledge it. Meanwhile, fanning the flames by what? Using propaganda. That's where you lie outright so that you can get support or sympathy. It's kind of like the Bollingers pretending like they're Christians so they can get stupid people to do what they want. Anyway, this person typed, the law is in place to protect people's property and the safety of the community. No, it's not. The law is in place to protect rich people's property. Nobody gives a fuck about your property when you're homeless. The cops don't give a fuck that the shit in that backpack is what keeps you from freezing to death at night. Shit, they see you using that thing that keeps you from freezing to death tonight. What are they going to do? They're going to arrest you. They're going to charge you $400. $400 in fines and court costs plus. And then there's the 60 hours of community service. Now we're talking about first offense here, folks. For being homeless, you're homeless because you don't have the money to survive. People say, oh, well, you should just get a job. Like it is that fucking easy. First, you got to find somebody to watch your shit. Second, you got to try to get clean clothes so that you can go into that and hopefully get a job interview. Meanwhile, it doesn't make any difference if you don't have an ID. And one of the favorite tactics of police is to steal our ID. Fucking bastards. Anyway, this person right here just hates homeless people, and you're about to read a whole bunch of stuff why. Now, first of all, those of you who are black, those of you who are Native American, you're going to recognize this shit. But it's not being said about you. It's being said about the homeless. By the way, there is no homeless lives matters. See, those of us who grew up after segregation was abolished, we grew up being told how wrong it is that black people were treated that way. And we agreed. And we have fought to make sure that our friends who happen to be a different color are protected. Protected the same as us? No, we don't have any protection. Not unless you join a racist hate group. If you're white and homeless, you're SOL. Nobody gives a holy fucking goddamn about you. Minorities are going to tell you how much you owe them and tell you that nobody owes you nothing. Nobody owes you nothing. Nobody owes you nothing. You owe me for your ancestors owning my ancestors did not own your ancestors. If you're talking about here in the United States of America, yeah, not a chance in hell. Now, if you want to talk about in Europe, my family were the slaves, but you don't want to pay any attention to that because it doesn't fit your narrative. Also, you want to narrow it down to just the United States. See, here's what we need to do, right? Well, lower the parameters and change the parameters so that we'll only specifically fit our group, and then nobody else gets to speak. Well, that's fucking stupid. Now, this person right here, PD, typed, squatters are unidentifiable. Really. It's pretty easy to identify somebody who's squatting. You don't have to be in a house to squat. Behind a bush is just as illegal. If you don't have a safe place to lay your head, you are breaking the law just by going to sleep. Anyway, he types, many of them are sex offenders and meth addicts. You know, I get to hear that about black people here in this town of Chapel, Nebraska. I get to hear about how most, not many, most black people are rapists, and most black people are on crack or on meth or on so on and so on and so on. And you know what? It's just as wrong when they do it that way. It is just as wrong. Then again, there's Black Lives Matters. When it comes to the homeless, we don't get a voice. We don't get to speak up. There is no BLM on our side who gives a shit. BLM doesn't even give a shit about black homeless people. Meanwhile, they keep telling us how we owe it to them, how we need to speak up, how we're terrible people if we don't. Meanwhile, I have been speaking up for most of my life. Because of what happened to Natalie Bollinger, it doesn't matter, does it? That's right, it doesn't. When you're homeless, you don't have any rights. Public pretenders aren't going to do their jobs. The DA isn't going to do their job. The judge isn't going to do their job. Why? Because they all profit from you being locked the fuck up. Got nothing to do with skin color, asshole. Let's see. Squatters are criminals. That's right. It is illegal to be homeless. Saying it 10,000 times is not going to change it. T. Trotter typed BLM is a racist terrorist organization. I agree. By the way, that comment right there was Facebook or YouTube wanted to check with me to make sure it was all right. Hold on a second. BLM is a racist terrorist organization. I don't see any racism in there towards black people. I don't see any curse words that might offend old people. I don't see anything in that comment right there that should have been under review. So I showed it. T. Trotter is typing Free Kyle self-defense. Now let's find out who this Kyle feller is. I don't know who Kyle is. Maybe T. Trotter can explain it to me. All right, so it says squatters are criminals, should be treated as criminals for not having a roof over your head, for being dropped off at 18 because you grew up in the system. You literally are a criminal the moment you leave their care. On your 18th birthday, you get dropped off with absolutely nothing, and nobody gives a shit. Let's see, if they are regular homeless and have no criminal background, that doesn't exist. Sure, there are pretty girls who get lucky and don't have to deal with that, but you have to be a pretty girl in order for that to happen. Let's see, it says RO protest against a race is racist, and to use violence and demand against a population is terrorism. Ah, so the police are terrorists. Thank you for agreeing, T. Trotter. Here's the thing, I agree wholeheartedly that BLM is a racist organization. However, it says RO protest against a race is racist. It's true, it is racist. I don't know what RO stands for, but I do know that BLM and their anti-white rhetoric and anti-white hatred and anti-white lies are a pain in the ass. The stuff that BLM posts up that's honest, I'm all for. I will promote the shit out of that. I will post it all over my timeline on Facebook. Let's see. T. Trotter typed, Kyle shot 3 people and killed 2 in self-defense. I'm going to show that one as well. Now, do we know who Kyle is? This guy explained well enough to y'all who Kyle is. Kyle is a boy, an underage boy, who was handed a rifle by his mother, and he started shooting people. What do you mean self-defense? He was the one with the gun. That's not self-defense. Now, T-Trotter type BLM is not for black people. That is true. BLM is doing more harm than good. T-Trotter typed, they attacked him. T-Trotter, I would like you to post the link here so that we can see the attack against him. I would like to see that young man get attacked. Not because I want to see harm befall him, but because if he was defending himself, if he was attacked, then he was well within his rights to use that firearm, whether it was legal for him to carry it or not. However, I haven't seen it. I've seen a couple little clips here and there. So I'd like you to post it up. Now, currently we're on a different issue. What's that issue? That's the hatred towards homeless people. How you make excuses, how you just assume that they're rapists, that they're child molesters, that they're sex offenders. Meanwhile, I'm right across the street from the school. There's at least one sex offender right in this little apartment area that I live in. There's at least 3 other registered sex offenders in town that I'm aware of. Sex offenders. Most of the people in this town are on drugs or drugs or alcohol. But, of course, it's only wrong if they're homeless. What percentage of homeless people are addicts? About 25%. That's 1 in 4. Chapel, Nebraska has a higher percentage than that just in alcoholics. 60% alcoholism right here in Chapel, Nebraska. We haven't even got started talking about the meth. Let's see. If they're regular homeless and have no criminal background, bitch, you turn 18, you're automatically a criminal. So shove that up your ass. Regular homeless. What's a regular homeless person? Fucking ignorance. Anyway, it says first thing they should do is go to the county and get the information about the property taxes and who have been paying those taxes. County has the owner information. Write a letter, ask for permission to copy the property with the exchange of maintaining it. Now, this guy right here has got a lot of great ideas that, first of all, require money. Second of all, require a mailing address. That's right. Now let's see. Without going through proper channels, then it is considered stealing someone else's property. You know, if you got 10 houses, you didn't earn them all. There's no way in hell you earned them all. You don't need more than one house. Hell, I think we should burn down every church in America. Why? Because God doesn't fucking need them. I think that every homeless person in America should move into the churches, barricade the doors, and keep it. God created us in his image, did he not? So that's our house. You want to victimize us to the point that we just want our lives to end. And then you tell us we wanted it, chose it, and deserved it. No, we don't choose the victimization that ends us up homeless. Why do most women who are homeless end up homeless? Fleeing domestic abuse. Not because they're sex offenders, because they are fleeing sex offenders. Not because they're physical abusers, but because they are fleeing physical abusers. Anyway, this dumb bitch here is going to continue typing about how they did it all by themselves. 70% of Americans between the age of 18 and 24 are financially supported by their parents. Did I get any financial support from my parents? Fuck no. Shit, I was paying rent to my parents, to my dad at least, by the time I was 15. Anyway, this dumb bitch wants to talk about his free shit. It says, I had a property in California, unoccupied most of the time, but I paid taxes and maintained the utilities. I went down there once or twice a year for many years. For many years. Very cute. So you've had property for many years. So you don't know the first goddamn thing about homelessness, but you do know about having property. And because you have that property, you don't have to deal with the assault. Because if you have that property, you don't have to deal with the theft. Because you have that property, you don't have to deal with the rampant victimization of the most victimized people in America. But then again, you don't want to hear that because it doesn't fit the BLM bullshit. Now, T. Trotter has not posted up anything that would even remotely suggest that that Kyle feller was attacked. We've been waiting, 10 minutes now? 15 minutes? Matter of fact, he stopped typing at that point. Beautiful. So that gets us back to our reading of the bullshit. Let's see. One time I went down there just to find out my key didn't work, and someone apparently has been living there for a month or two. I called the sheriff and filed proper paperwork to get those people kicked out by force. It is within my rights to do so. That's right, and homeless people have no rights, so you're a spoiled little bitch. Now, how many properties do you have? How many do you need? If you take more than you need, you're a shitty person. We like to talk about how hoarders are mentally ill, don't we? Hoarders are mentally ill. Well, that depends on what they're hoarding. You hoard human lives, it's fine. You hoard money, you hoard land, that's fine. Then you're an investor. Meanwhile, there ain't enough for everybody else to live on. Now, there's plenty of land to live on, but we got to make it 10 times more complicated and 1,000 times more expensive. Fuck it though, right? This guy right here got himself an extra property. So he's got rights that we don't have, and obviously he's had them for years. This is someone who has never had to experience homelessness. Let's see. When someone abused your rights, the law will be implemented to make sure they are being taken care of. That's bullshit. That is complete bullshit. When you're homeless, you have no fucking rights. You have zero rights. You are a criminal simply because you exist. But it's okay, isn't it? Fucking horse shit. But that's not all. See, although this person and a few other assholes wanted to go pop around on that bullshit for a bit, that's not the only issue and the only situation. See, we've also got missing and murdered indigenous peoples. Who are they? Well, I'll show you. This one right here is called social distancing powwow, or social distance powwow. Daniel Silas Silverthorne typed, I'm from the Kiowa tribe. This piece is called What About Us? Its symbolism from the broke wall is showing how no other race stands up for natives, but natives for the most part. The gap of support for our native people. And that's true. BLM doesn't give a shit about native people. They have not, none of them have actually spoken up about it. None of them have actually acknowledged that Native Americans are going through this. The other thing is, if it's wrong, it needs to be wrong across the board, not magically okay for one group but not another. If you drop the N bomb in front of me, I don't care if you're black. I'm going to tell you it's racist. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, that word is racist. If you're allowed to say it and I'm not, it's racist. Now, here so shows BLM, how it's got a black guy in the middle, and then there's two people of different colors that are standing with them, and then you see the Native Americans over here. There's nobody of a different color helping them out, is there? It's a protest. And of course, me, I'm a little different. Now, one thing to take note of is that an admin turned off the commenting for this post. Let's see, Jesse Davis typed, standing in solidarity with BLM will only benefit tribal nations. That's not true. That is not true. Standing with hate mongers isn't going to get you anything. Now, don't get me wrong, BLM is trying to change it for black people, and we've got a whole bunch of lawmakers wanting to make it for people of color, but really the issue is poverty. Most of those victimized are victimized not for their skin color, but for their poverty by people like this PD feller, many others who just got to make all sorts of excuses because they didn't have to live through it. Because they got a good start and never had to live through it. They didn't have to live behind a dumpster getting victimized by the fucking cops every goddamn night while going to work every fucking day. Let's see. Definitely will hurt government to government relationships, but long term, a fight for human rights matters. It needs to be for human rights then. Human rights. If you're making it only specifically for black people or only specifically for people of color, then it's racist. And we already have enough racist laws. Anyway, I typed, I speak out every single day. Diane Williston typed, this is monoracialism. It ignores our mixed relatives. We have relatives who are black and native who absolutely stand up for black people and native people. Well, I'm neither and I stick up for both. So how about kiss my ass, BLM? See, I'm not against black people. I'm against BLM because it is a racist hate group. It's disgusting. Let's see. Sarah Milagros typed, this is anti-black. No, it's not. Black Lives Matters is not standing up for the Native American community or speaking up for the Native American community. Colin Kaepernick is, but he's just one person. Let's see. As many have stated, it leaves out our black native family. Well, that just seems like an oxymoron. Also, the black community has stood with us in solidarity. BLM came to support No DAPL. First of all, DAPL, that's Dakota Pipeline. I was involved in that. I was ferrying supplies between Colorado and South Dakota. I'm not black. Now, where was the Black Lives Matters protesters there? Magically, they were there now, but they weren't there then. That's odd. I knew a few people who were up there with the Dakota Pipeline. All of them were white. There's one guy who claims to be Native American, but he also claims to be black, and he's, well, white as the undriven snow. He is white as white fucking gets. Let's see. So, no, BLM didn't go to support any of you. There might have been black people there who went in support, but no, BLM as an organization going to your protest? No, the fuck they did not. BLM doesn't give a fuck about you. Let's see. Non-black native people are complicit in perpetuating anti-blackness. Oh, so now you're calling native people racist and anti-black. Holy fucking shit. Yeah, that totally sounds like you're standing up for Native American rights, asshole. Let's see. I would encourage you to reflect on why it bothers you to have black folks be centered at this specific time and at because they have been at the center of it my entire life. My entire life, black people are the center of goddamn attention everywhere that I go, even when there are no black people there. No matter what, every single thing that happens to a black person must be because white people all hate them. Do you have any idea how sick and fucking tired we are, first of all, of being blamed for all of your goddamn problems? Second of all, you pretending like we don't have problems because of the color of our skin. Holy fucking shit, where do you come up with this retarded bullshit? Now let's continue. Let's see. I would encourage you to reflect on why it bothers you to have black folks be centered at this specific time and advocate for themselves and their struggle. Well, here's the thing, is that they're not just advocating for themselves. They're advocating hatred towards white people. They are advocating violence towards white people. No, that's not okay. It's not okay to assault black people, and it sure as fuck is not okay to assault white people by that same fucking reasoning. You want to blame everything that's ever gone wrong in your life on white people. That's racist. Let's continue though. Let's see. Now, first of all, advocating for themselves. The point that this post was made about at the very beginning was that who is standing up for these natives? Is BLM? No, they're not. And that's what this person is recognizing and making a very, very important point by doing so. But then people want to get angry at these natives for wanting to be heard. We have listened to black people my entire life, but it has gotten to the point where we have replaced what was going on with a whole bunch of racist black people who have been taught to be racist, taught that everything that happens to them is white people's fault, taught that it's happening specifically to them because of their color of skin. Meanwhile, it's happening to white people. There is no doubt about that. But white people don't get to say, oh, well, it's because of the color of my skin. It's not popular to be white. Lovely. The changes BLM is demanding will benefit us all. No, they won't. The changes BLM is demanding will not change anything for the top 5 most victimized groups in America. Who are they? Foster children, former foster children, the homeless, the mentally disabled, the physically disabled. The top 5 categories right there. All of those categories have to do with poverty, bias, bigotry, and hatred. But none of them are racist. Now, when people start downing on Native Americans who statistically have it far, far worse, statistically, Native Americans per capita are shot at a much higher rate by police. The only people per capita who are killed more than Native Americans are the homeless. Why is that? Because we have such a large number of disabled people. Native Americans are sitting at less than 2% of the population. The homeless are sitting at less than 2% of the population. The disabled account for a lot more than that. We need to work together. That means instead of shaming the other victims because they're not the right skin color or because they're not the right gender to fit your propaganda or bullshit, and I'm going to tell you, the majority of those killed by police last year, majority of them, as in over half, were disabled. Nearly half of them were homeless. The majority of those locked up in our prison systems were homeless when they were locked up. Public pretenders don't do their fucking jobs. Now, the same things that I hear black folks complaining about and native folks complaining about and homeless folks complaining about, I also get to hear parents complaining about the courts don't give a fuck about you as a human being. And what all these people have in common? Poverty. Poverty. Fuck this goddamn country. I'm tired of seeing all the hatred. I'm not just talking about on the fucking computer. I'm talking about it in real goddamn life. If I went around and shot every single person who makes excuses why it's okay to kill people, we would very soon run out of people making excuses why it's okay to kill people. Unfortunately for y'all, I'm against killing. When you said that you would castrate child molesters, put a bullet in their head, you didn't keep your word, did you? Of course not. You're just a mouth. Now, I said I would expose the child molesters. Guess what? been doing that. I have been doing that. You guys want to go cut some balls off or put some bullet in people's heads? There's already quite a list, and y'all haven't done anything. All right, I'm not even sure what this says, but I'm going to allow it on here and then read it. Sully Began typed, I saw a clip yesterday that said it all. An African woman that said she had lived in the U.S. for 7 years has seen more racism from other blacks than whites in the U.S. Yeah. I'm actually going to copy this. And we'll actually look this up. Looks like it's 59 seconds long. All right, press play. Why is it not playing? I had experienced more prejudice for Black Americans than I have racism for Caucasians. In my 7 years of living in the States, I have had terrible experiences with Black Americans showing prejudice. Even my own son showed prejudice at the park when he tried to play the cage. So, the mother literally yelled at my son, and he was only about 3. I was standing right next to him, but she yelled at him. I was like, really? So yes, you know what? I'm well within my rights to do the way I feel. There you go. Like I said, I've experienced more prejudice from African Americans than I have racism from white Americans. Boom, I said it. Well, you're welcome. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I am going to copy video URL. I'll post it right down here for all y'all. When you train people to believe certain things, when you pound it into their head over and over and over again, my older brother likes to talk about man-hating lesbians. So, Sean, not all lesbians hate men. Duh. He said, but you gotta look out for man-hating lesbians because they hate anything with a penis. Duh. Captain Obvious, right? In order to create effective change, first of all, we have to stop looking away. Stop looking away. I haven't been looking away from the situations that are happening to black folks. I speak up every day. But then again, we need to understand that BLM is not black people. BLM is a racist hate group. You don't have to be part of a racist hate group because of the color of your skin. You know why I'm not part of the KKK? I mean, other than the fact that my ancestors were Jewish. I don't want to be a part of a fucking hate group. Now, for me, the things that were done to me, these people got away with it. When I say these people, I'm talking about the Bollingers, the police, the people y'all make excuses for, why it must be okay, why they should have special rights to be above the law. Meanwhile, I just got my disability payment a few hours ago. I'm waiting on the pumpkin pantry to open so I can go get me some breakfast. I didn't get shit for sleep yesterday because I don't get to see my loved ones. And people who I try to explain that to, they want to tell me about how much it hurt for them when they lost their grandma. Bitch, let me explain something to you. There is a big difference between being cut off from all of your loved ones over things that you didn't do and your fucking grandma dying. Big goddamn difference. See, you're still spending your time with your son. You're still spending time with your husband. You still go out every Thursday, go drinking with the ladies. No, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. No, you don't know what the fuck alone really is. No, you don't understand my emotional state because you are not going through it. Most of you never have. Meanwhile, you're allowed to have sex. You're allowed to enjoy sex. You're allowed to find other people attractive. But for me, I don't have to be interested in sex. I don't enjoy sex. I don't want sex. But if you do something fucked up to me, you can just pretend that I am the bad guy and I only want sex. Well, that's just stupid. So you're allowed to want sex. You're allowed to actually have sex. And then you're allowed to physically and emotionally harm me because you want to pretend that I might want to have sex. Holy fuck, you're goddamn idiots. Merry fucking goddamn Christmas. I fight for the victims. I don't pick and choose victims based on their color. I don't say, oh, he's black, he must be a victim. Oh, he's white, he must be a predator. Oh, she's a female, she must be a victim. Oh, he's a male, he must be a predator. Meanwhile, 1/3 of those who are molested here in the United States before the age of 18, 1/3 of those people are males. 1 in 3 of those people are males. And we're told that that is, well, a feminine issue. No. Sorry, but 28 million men are victims. That's not a female issue. And saying that we're not going to do anything about these men who have had to go through this until we have entirely eradicated it for women is fucking stupid. We should ignore the white people. We should ignore the males. We should ignore the poor. We should ignore the ugly. That is the United States of America, people. It's a goddamn popularity contest.